What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharpe. And as promised, we are live here on the East Coast. I'm here in Philly. It is about 5 minutes until 1 o'clock a.m. here on the East Coast. I, of course, am doing the post-fight show, the post-fight breakdown, the Triple G versus Canelo post-fight breakdown with my man, Ed Latimore. Ed, how's it going, man?
It's going good, man. We're in the same state, same time zone, right on. I was just telling you beforehand when you said, "Yo, we're gonna do a post-fight recap." I'm like, "Ah, man, we're gonna do this like Monday or Sunday." I get out the car because I watched the fight at my coach's house. I get out the car and he's like, "Yo, man, you good to go in 15 minutes?" It's like, I mean, yeah, but that's not what I was expecting. But yeah, man, like you said, fired up. Just fired up about the fight. Good, bad, we're gonna break it down.
Wow. Listen, so hold on. Let me set it up here. So here's what happened in the fight. So Canelo is the new, I think he's the undisputed middleweight champion.
Yeah, because Triple G had them all.
Yeah, he had them all. So Canelo won the fight. Canelo is the new. Yeah, he won the fight between him and Triple G, obviously. And listen, the Dave Moretti, the one clean judge from last time, scored about 114-114. The other two judges, and their names escape me, you guys can look this up, scored about 115-113 to Canelo. So he won the fight by majority decision. Now, I know where I stood. How did you score the fight?
So I'm scoring the fight the whole time. And I was, posting round by round on Twitter, giving my little feedback on the interesting stuff, giving my own personal take on the thing. And I came away with the score 116-113 Triple G. Now, here's what I'll say about my scoring. I give two caveats. One, I think I scored round 5 an exact tie, like a 9-9 round. Okay. I couldn't go either way on that. And I also gave Triple G, I think it was round 10. I think I scored it because I like to factor in the possible human error and things I might have missed. I think I scored that one for him 10-8. Even though he didn't knock him down.
Right.
Now, if we take it 10, he definitely won the round, right?
Yeah.
Even if we take it 10-9, and we don't call that one a draw and we edge it either way, you're looking at best a draw and at worst, or rather at worst a draw, and at best he wins the fight by 1 point. So either way, the Canelo did not win that fight. That's my opinion. Obviously, you look back at these things and I would like to believe, even though we've seen Adelaide Bird scorecards, I would like to believe that the judges just see it a little differently. And some of those rounds, look, all the close rounds I gave to Canelo. Like there wasn't an edge round where I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just give it to Triple G to make it good. Nah, man. Triple G won that fight, especially the last half of the fight, and big at that.
Yeah, we actually have some dissension in the chat. Hector Ojeda said Canelo was the legit winner. Here's the thing. I scored about 114-110 to Triple G. I gave Triple G the first round. I gave Canelo the second round. I scored that round 10-8. Yeah, I scored the second round 10-8 to Canelo. I scored the 10th round 10-8 to Triple G because Canelo was absolutely hurt. Listen, I'll give credit where credit's due. Triple G hit Canelo with shots throughout the fight. Even when Canelo was taking the fight to Triple G was landing these big shots and Canelo would not go down. And finally, in the 10th round, it looked like Canelo was a little bit wobbled. So I had that round 10-8. I scored the 11th round 9-all. Now, to me...
okay.
Yeah. Now, here's the way I broke it down. Or at least before the last round, it would appear that the final two judges probably thought to themselves they probably had that fight a draw. If Dave Moretti had that fight a draw, then the other two judges clearly thought that Canelo won the 12th round. Now, I don't know if the scorecards have been released yet. I imagine that'll be released here within the hour or so. But my guess is that they probably gave the 12th round to Canelo. I gave the 12th round to Triple G, which to me made him the unanimous winner. But again, we definitely saw what happened. Canelo landed many more power shots. He threw more power shots. He was the more accurate puncher. But Triple G was much busier, threw a lot more punches, landed a lot more punches. That jab was like a trip hammer to me.
Oh man,
the fight for him.
You know, and you got to remember when you're judging a boxing fight, people forget this, and I think you get it because I've seen what you just had in your hand.
Yep.
You don't look back at the fight overall and assess it round by round. You see who won the fight.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons, because I knew we were prepping for this, that I wanted to give my scores, as it came out. Plus, it was just going to keep it fresh in my head doing it that way.
Yes, absolutely.
And so I literally, I'm looking at my sheet. I had the first 2 rounds to Canelo.
Okay.
And then I gave the third to Triple G. And I think I said it was either the 6th or 7th round. I said, what is Triple G doing? Did he forget that they're wearing Vegas? Like, you cannot just take a... That's right. It was the 6th round. I said, Triple G is washed in most of this round. He can't make room inside. The only place where he's going to win, because Canelo was doing work from mid-range.
Right.
He was like, I'm not saying he watched the fight and he was killing it. No. There was a point where I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to have to get on and say... and I gotta say it anyway, because I was adamant. I said Canelo is not going to win. It will either be a draw or he's going to get stopped.
Right.
I had him getting stopped. I thought, because you can see, they showed the front view of him, and yeah, he looks the same, but on the back, man, you can tell that clinic, he's not on it. I didn't think he was going to be able to land with such. Those body shots, those left and right hooks to the body. Ooh. Triple G he a G, man. Like, taking those shots,
man.
Or it was impressive. But I just looking at it and calculating round by round, and I didn't give a thing to Triple G because I knew they weren't going to give anything.
Right, of course.
And I can't see how that fight, if they gave it a draw again, I think people would be a little pissed.
Sure.
But I think you get less dissension from the fans because, looking at the chatter on Twitter and looking at the chatter on Facebook, there seems to be a majority consensus that Triple G won the fight.
Yes.
And, and you got to remember, man, like Roger Mayweather says, man, most people don't know shit about boxing. They're just watching a fight. I'm watching it, and I thought that the inside work that was going on was really beautiful. Even though Triple G, his fundamentals have kind of fallen off over the years. He's leaning over his front foot and not sitting back, to drop shots the right way. Still, he's got enough awareness to where when he's inside, he knows how to slide off. He knows how to use his arms, his hands. I thought that was beautiful. So I'm watching a fight as a bit of an aficionado. And the fans are watching a fight, and there's just more consensus that Triple G won the fight on either side. Now I can hear the argument for Canelo. I'm not saying it was an obvious robbery. I've seen way worse in boxing.
Yeah, like the last fight.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. That was bad.
Sure.
This was more contestable. Like, if they had called this a draw, I don't think you're going to hear anything.
Right. I wouldn't have had a problem. Listen, I would not have had a problem if it was a draw. And here's the thing. The consensus outside of the T-Mobile Arena was Triple G. The consensus inside of T-Mobile Arena was clearly... Listen, it was listen, all Las Vegas fights are Mexican. Listen, I live in Vegas. There's Mexicans everywhere, right? And
yeah.
And I think... And listen, we know judges are supposed to be objective, but judges are people too. And I'm not going to fault the judges for being influenced by the crowd. Triple G won the 12th round, but when Canelo was putting in work, the crowd just responded more favorably because there are simply more Mexicans than Kazakhstanians and Russians and Ukrainians in a crowd. So, listen, they're influenced just as much as everybody else. But one thing that shocked me right from the start is that Canelo was the stalker and Triple G was the guy on the run. Remember in the first fight, it was Triple G who was the aggressor. Had Canelo on the ropes, and Canelo obviously, honestly, he's probably one of the best counterpunchers I've ever seen. The only two counterpunchers I've ever seen more effective than Canelo, Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Sweet Pea Pernell and Pernell Whitaker. Pernell Whitaker was unbelievable. He was an unbelievable counterpuncher, probably the best I've ever seen. Canelo's probably a distant third. I'd probably put Floyd Mayweather at number 2, but Canelo didn't come out wanting to be the counterpuncher. He was the stalker. He was the aggressor. And I think the judges, and again, I'm not a boxing judge, but I think they let that first fight cloud their judgment. You heard Max Kellerman and Roy Jones Jr., Jim Lampley talking about so far, Canelo is winning the story of the fight. We expected Triple G to stalk him and chase him down, but instead it's Canelo who's doing the role reversal. Listen, yes, there was role reversal, but Triple G was still landing punches. Now, Michael Swint makes a very good comment in the chat. He said Canelo won that fight 115 to 113. The judges got it right. Canelo killed the body. I cannot argue with that. Listen, Canelo put in that body work. And here's the thing. What shocked me is that I thought that Triple G was going to end up
be the one doing that.
Right. But he seemed to catch a second wind in the 6th round. I thought Triple G I was like, dude, there's no way he can keep at this pace. Canelo's going to stop him in the 8th or the 9th round. And he seemed to get like a second win in the 7th round. And unfortunately for Canelo, that body work really only helped him as far as the judges' scorecards were concerned. Didn't help him in the fight because Triple scored him, and when he caught that second win, he kept coming after him. So the body work was good for the judges, not necessarily good for the fight.
So I'm gonna play the devil's advocate against myself, and I guess you too. I'm gonna say, okay, how could I look at this fight and say Canelo won? The first thing we talked about, he really did do a number on the body. Yes. I mean, and not just, and you want to talk about damage?
Whew.
Here's how you know those shots were hurting Triple G. He would get hit and his arms would come down.
Yes.
I'm looking at this going, he's really hurting this guy.
Hey, that's right.
Right? He's not standing up. He's like shaking it off.
And Canelo immediately made him pay with that left hook. Dude, he got in those left hooks. This is why Triple G's right eye started to close up in the early rounds, because he's putting in that body work, dropping the hands. Canelo immediately saw the opening and put in that left hook.
And they got aware and then, started backing out and sliding off whenever he got hit to the body.
Right.
But that was a serious amount of damage he was putting on him. So we got that. The other thing, if I'm going to look at it and judge the fight a little differently, and I got this theory about how judges see fights depending on the climate of the sport at the moment. I think if you're going to go, okay, Canelo won this fight, you got to give it to him on his ring generalship. I was really impressed. He didn't take steps back. He didn't, Triple G didn't get him on the ropes with his back to the ropes the way he had him. The way he had him in the first fight, he didn't get him in that position until I think the 9th or 10th round, where after he had him, where we finally started getting some offense back and hurting him. Right. So Canelo, and I still think Triple G won. I just like to argue both sides, and it was close enough.
Of course.
So Canelo fought an improved fight, and I've been saying this the whole time about these fighters. Canelo's been on his way up in terms of ability, and you see it. I mean, I think he fought a better fight than he fought last time, and Triple G's been on his way down, and I don't think it has anything to do with his age. I think fundamentally he's fallen off. This is a guy that used to he was terrifying.
Oh my God,
terrifying!
Pulling around on the mat, they showed the footage. He's breaking guys' bones.
He's getting hit, dropping guys off the clean rights. He's getting hit with. I mean, this is a terrifying fighter, and and he's on the down. He's on the down. I mean, I actually not watched that Danny Jacobs fight. I'd seen the Cal Brook on it, and I knew
Cal Brook. Yeah, he's the guy that got his fucking orbital bone cracked.
Yeah. I knew Cal Brook a warrior, but he came up too big for that fight. That's not his weight division.
Right.
At that level, you can't jump 10 pounds. That's gonna make a huge difference. You can't win. But that Danny Jacobs fight, man, he put in work, and you know, looking at that, finally, you know, got to see it not just in the clips, but catching YouTube and when in that long intermission before the fight because the well, I think the Mungia fight was so short, and I think they were expecting that to be a little longer. So I checked it out. And I'll tell you what, man, Triple G is made of something special, but
Man.
Canelo, even without that cleanse boost, was really hurting that guy to the body, and I think the judges, I would like to believe that they are obviously, you know, not obviously, but I would like to believe they're sophisticated enough to have taken that kind of attack into consideration. I still think, you know, from an outsider perspective and an insider perspective, Triple G did enough to rally and win, especially from round 7 through
12. Man. The only questionable round was maybe I don't know. Maybe the 12th round, but by the 12th round, both of the they're both exhausted. So fundamentally, they're not really going to be, they're just kind of throwing punches, not aimlessly, but they don't really look as skilled. I think that this fight was clearly judged on expectation. Listen, right, wrong, or indifferent, I think that's what it was. I think Canelo came out and surprised everyone by the fact that he was the aggressor. And I think that listen, he was the aggressor and it was effective early. And I don't want to say it clouded the judges' minds, but listen, give Canelo credit. He set the tone. He gave the judges the bias in their mind to say, okay, this is how this fight is going to go. And here's another thing, Ed. Listen, you're a professional heavyweight fighter. I think boxing judges are a lot like umpires in baseball. Different umpires are going to have different strike zones. You have I mean, that's how it is. You have some umpires who call a wide strike zone, like maybe Eric Gregg back in the 97 NLCS with Leovon Hernandez getting strikes 15 feet outside the outside court. Then you got guys like Joe West who call a tighter strike zone. Well, I think the same goes with judges. I think some judges look more favorably on technical fighters like a Floyd Mayweather Jr. Some judges are action judges. Hey, whichever fighter looks the busiest, whichever fighter I guess just looks
right.
They're gonna find for that fighter. So here's the thing. I disagree with the judges, but if somebody I don't like people are in here saying, hey, Canelo, won the fight clearly. Listen, I can't argue with that. I mean, Canelo, listen, it was a great fight. And Jim Lampley said it best. He couldn't call it. Harold Letterman scored the fight. I think it was 113 to Triple G, and Harold Letterman he scored bouts all the way back from the Sugar Ray Leonard days.
Right.
So a couple, amateurs or an amateur judge we got amateur guys in the chat who think they're experts. Well, Canelo clearly won the fight. Well, there are experts who thought Triple G won the fight, and there are who thought that Canelo won the fight. So I don't think that one thing's for certain though. It was an excellent fight, and I think this clearly sets us up for the first dude. This is Ed. This is a trilogy unlike anything. This is Bo Holyfield. This is Mickey Ward. Dude, you remember the Mickey Ward Arturo Gotti trilogy? Woo!
Oh, sure.
Oh my God, action fights, man.
And how's the pace gets set? The pace gets set by a great first fight.
That's right.
The second fight where the result gets changed, and then boom. Same with Bo Holyfield, right?
Yep, that's right.
And here's the thing. I am, man, these are hard fights to kind of watch because I watch them and I know what it's like to be hit. Did you watch the whole broadcast, like the undercard and all that?
Absolutely. Well, right. No, I watched the first two undercards. I watched what's the kid's name? Jaime. Oh my God, I forgot how to pronounce his last name. Against the Canadian guy, he was clearly bigger, stronger. The kid was 30.
Oh, you talking about Lemieux and
Well, I watched that fight.
The dude with the mustache.
Knock the fuck out. I watched the only undercard I watched was the one right before Triple G.
Right. Okay. So then you saw the segment where they were talking about I think stacking with the hand wraps.
Yes.
Look, man, I know what it's like to get hit with that shit. So I'm sitting here watching these fights going, man, you guys are like all the velocity you see being swung into these shots, and then I mean it is like a cast, even and it hurts like a son of a bitch. So I bring that up because I'm thinking about, okay, the first fight, they laid some leather down. I thought Triple G hurt Canelo more. I think Canelo hurt Triple G more from a purely commercial standpoint.
There you go.
I have no idea what these guys got paid for 1 and 2. Or rather, I think I know what they got for 1. I don't know what 2 came out. I think it ended up being like a $5 million split or something like that.
Yeah.
Something to that effect. And so there's reason to believe it's at least that big, this time. For a third fight, man, and these guys are game, these guys are showmen, but that is, I mean, they've got to be all kinds of beat up, especially Triple G. Like, if we want to talk about who probably has a worse day the day after the fight,
I think Triple G blood for a week, bro.
Oh yeah, I have no idea how you go. Okay, you know what? Let's get back on the horse and let's go.
Yeah, like 37 years old next year. Let's go through another 12 rounds of pain like that, right?
And I already made all my money. I was unified, and it's not like he got washed. Like, it's not like he got knocked out.
No.
Because he took 12 rounds of damage. He didn't get stopped in the 4th. He didn't get stopped in the 6th. That's 12 rounds, and he was committed to the body work. I mean,
he was. And look, somebody made a comment that the Triple G's corner gave him bad non-advice. He never told him go to the body. If he had gone to the body on Canelo, he might have been able to stop him in the 10th round when he had him hurt. Got a couple of guys here who are saying no to the trilogy. Listen, I gotta vehemently disagree. A trilogy is when you have 2 close fights, different results in both those fights. So just because listen. Say what you want about the fight. Triple G won, Canelo won. There were 2 close fights. Anyone who says, no, there's no way this is a trilogy, you don't know what you're talking about. You're not watching the fight. Listen, that's fine. You can bring your biases. Objectively, this is clearly a part 3 people are going to watch. Come on.
Here's a better argument if they can't swallow anything else. What other fight would you rather see right now?
Right. That's what
I mean, what Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder, maybe? Like,
Anthony Joshua wants too much money, right? And I think Anthony Joshua wants too much money because secretly he's afraid of Deontay Wilder. I don't think that fight.
Really? You think so, huh? Oh man,
Anthony Joshua is the superior fighter, but Anthony Joshua, he does not want those problems, Deontay's from the hood, man. He's from Mississippi, homie. That country nigga will put those hands on age. Real, man.
I think he's got. I think if they fight, Wilder is definitely more likely to get him out of there early. I think if that fight goes past the 4th, it's all Joshua. But Wilder is going to be very dangerous early. And you know what? And not to be a hater, Wilder's gotten significantly better over the last 3 fights than he did over the first 30 or so of his career. Yeah.
Listen, here's another fight. Listen to this. Now check this out. Let's say Triple G Canelo part 3 doesn't happen. Here's a fight that would sell everything out. How about Canelo versus Floyd Mayweather, right? You remember Canelo versus Mayweather back in 2013? Canelo wasn't ready for that fight.
No, and they knew it.
And they knew it. And of course, listen, Floyd is a good businessman. He usually gets guys who are just out of their prime who are just entering their prime. He's one of the best who ever did it. And I can't think of a better fight. Canelo just shocked the world and beat Triple G. You can say what you want about it, but I think another fight that people would love to see, they would love to see Floyd come out of retirement one last payday. I think that he could probably get more for that fight than he did for the Mayweather-McGregor fight.
Ooh.
Man, people love to hate Floyd Mayweather. They watch this guy just to watch him lose, and he will not do it. You actually had people out here, Ed, drinking the Kool-Aid.
You're right.
McGregor never had a chance to it. Listen, you remember Buster Douglas versus Tyson back in 1990, right?
Right.
There was one idiot out there saying, I don't know, I think Buster Douglas is going to win the fight. When Buster Douglas won that fight, that guy was surprised. Buster Douglas was surprisingly knocked out Tyson in the 10th round. So don't give me that nonsense. These people knew that McGregor wasn't going to win this fight. Canelo versus Mayweather, I'm here for it, man.
Here's what I think though. That is a significantly it's just a magnitudes of a different fight than McGregor. I don't think Mayweather wants to train for that fight.
I don't think so either. Listen, dude, and remember, he's got 225 amateur fights. Yeah. He's been fighting since he was 3 years old. He's done. That's
and it's not like, on the Mayweather discussion. I'm not the guy that's gonna say Mayweather cherry picked his opponents. These guys were champions and had great records, and were they the toughest competition he could have fought at the time? Absolutely not. Were they pushovers? Not
Listen, Zab Judah, Sugar Shane Mosley, Oscar, he set him up, he knocked him down, he beat all the best. Whoa, what was that?
My cat just decided to come and be playful, man. but nah, those fights he did not. He had to still work for those fights.
Of course he did. They weren't laid off. Here's another guy says not interested in Mayweather. Awesome boxer, swifty defensive guy, but not a slugger. See, here's the thing, and this is a style preference. People loved Mike Tyson because he was an action fighter. People loved Arturo Gatti, Mickey Ward, because they were action fighters. People don't even know who Paul Byrd is, do they? Right? Nobody knows who the hell Paul Byrd is because he's a heavyweight technical fighter. Dude, I was bored with Paul Byrd, but I can still recognize
Chris Byrd.
Was it Paul? It was Chris Byrd. See, I don't even know what his name is, right? And of course, he fought under Don King, and that's enough of that. But the point is, dude, I've watched so many fights thanks to the advent of YouTube. Anyone, if you really pay attention, and it's not to say that if you like action fighters that you're not a boxing aficionado. I'm not that guy. But again, if you recognize the brilliance, dude, Floyd is brilliant in the ring, dude. He fights like he's on radar. I could watch that all day long. I understand that's really not good for TV, but guess what? He is the highest grossing pay-per-view fighter of all time for a reason. For whatever reason that is, maybe you hate to love him, maybe you love to hate him. I'd like to see it, but most people don't like the way Floyd Mayweather fights. That's just how it is. Just, I guess.
And you know what? The worst thing they did was expose Floyd Mayweather to the general public, because as popular as Mayweather was, it wasn't until that Mayweather-Pacquiao fight that you had regular ass people watching boxing for Floyd Mayweather, and they were like, what the hell did we just watch? Well, so many people.
12 rounds unanimous decision. It was his last 20 fights. 12 rounds unanimous decision, right?
And I'm like, what y'all expect? But I gotta remember, the regular person is not like watching his fights constantly, watching boxing constantly, seeing the mastery. I thought, and this is gonna relate back to Canelo and who his possible next opponent is if they're gonna do that trilogy. I thought Mayweather's best fight, or at least the most entertaining fight for the regular person and the boxing aficionado who knows what's going on, when he fought Miguel Cotto.
Oh yes.
And I'm watching Cotto was winning, and then he adjusted, and then eventually took over, and then Alvarez came and fought Cotto. And
it took apart Miguel Cotto.
He did.
Cotto, man.
Cotto fought a good, smart fight, but he just wasn't big enough when he was hitting him to do damage. And I totally forgot that Alvarez. I don't know how I could forget this. When he basically ended Amir Khan's career. Right now, that's a ghost of Amir Khan walking around. That's not the real.
Listen. I thought Canelo was gonna win that fight, but Amir Khan still doesn't know what day it is.
Yeah, I thought that was gonna be the first ring death that I was gonna witness. That was bad.
Watch it on YouTube. Canelo Alvarez knocks out Amir Khan. It
round 6. It's a nasty. Any guys in the chat right now who haven't seen it, if you ever want to see pure boxing violence, it doesn't get much better than that. But to Alvarez, and bringing all this up, he has fought. I didn't know he was so young either.
He's
until
only
today.
28. He's already 50-1.
Yeah, you know, they're gonna have the same problem they had with Alvarez that they had with GG, Triple G when he was coming up. Who do you get to fight him? Who fights him? He's beat all the good guys. Anybody worth money because he's a Mexican. I guess everyone's worth money for real. So they're really in a good position. But he could sit back and kind of select his opponents, and he really hasn't done that. So you're in this position where like you get this guy who can beat a lot of guys, who sells a lot of tickets. I mean, sells a lot.
Yes.
And but what are you gonna do? And he's undisputed now. He's a license to print money. I mean, motherfucker's part of the Mexican economy now.
Right. He's Oscar De La Hoya's new golden boy. Michael Swint in the comments says a couple of better fights: the winner of Danny Jacobs and Diverchenko, or Jamal Charlo, who of course is the WBC.
Right. You know, and that's what I was going to say. Yeah, that's right. You know the game, and we're talking boxing right now. Oh, so yeah, the Charlo brothers are the truth. Do I think Jamal Charlo fights Alvarez? Sure, I think he takes that fight. I think Alvarez cooks him. I think he cuts him apart.
That's right. And Alvarez is still going to take that fight. He needs to put money in his pocket now. Now that he has the license to print money, dude, turn on the printer. Let's do it.
Right, and but the problem is like the Charlos. You always forget this is a boxing fan, man. Outside of the boxing world, how popular is the guy? I mean, you got this guy who's a white Mexican.
Right. They said he's Mexican, looks Irish, and fights like he's
like a fucking demon. That's what he fights like. And yeah, so that fight, but there's a lot of big guys. Who's that Josh Hurd? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's the cool thing about weighing what he weighs is that you can make a lot of fights, and there's a lot of guys who are going to be interested in coming after that belt and just getting a name for themselves, are taking a payday. We're not done seeing Alvarez. Are we done seeing the caliber of Alvarez versus Triple G? Yeah, I don't think there's anybody out there right now who has that level of skill plus hype. I mean, look how long it took them to get Triple G on pay-per-view. People forget this.
Yeah, dude.
Triple G did on pay-per-view?
Yeah, till like his 30th fight, right? Like Triple G is, I think he's 30. Listen, he is 8 years Canelo senior. Dude, Canelo's 50-1. I think Triple G's only got 37 belt. There's a big difference. So Canelo's been exposed to the public for a lot longer, even though he's a lot younger. Triple G is still relatively new to the public, even though he's 37 years old and he's been fighting forever.
Yeah, in fact, that was one of the contract disputes in the first fight.
Yes,
is that Alvarez wanted more money, and he should get it because at the end of the day, if you're tuning into that fight, more people are coming from Mexico to watch that fight, more Latin America, more popular with the American audiences. There's just he controls that division right now, and unless Floyd Mayweather decides he wants to come back and make a go at things.
Oh, that'd be great.
It's a real good time.
Hamid Seydu says, and again, this could have gone either way. Says Triple G was raw. Period. Canelo is impressive, but so is Triple G, and he is the champ. Canelo, as the challenger, should have had more. Now, see it here. Here's another school of thought. If you are the challenger, you have to do more than the champion to unseat the champion.
Exactly. I 100% believe it.
Majority decision stuff. None of that. Listen, tie goes to the runner, right? A close fight goes to the champion. This was a close fight. Nobody dominated this fight. Maybe Canelo fought a little better fight than Triple G, but not enough to make him now, I guess,
undisputed.
Right.
Is that welterweight champ? Is that what that fight was at, or something a little bigger?
It's middleweight. They fought at 160.
Yeah, so undisputed middleweight. Yeah, exactly, man. No one in that fight, regardless, can say, and we can say that, but someone's got to hold the title, right? But no one in that fight is the undisputed middleweight champion. But I don't think. What's up?
No, go ahead.
Oh man, that's cool as hell. You got some kind of button on there or something.
Yeah, I got a mute button, so that's all good.
Oh, solid, solid, solid. But yeah, I wonder what do you think is next though for the day? Like so we discussed the trilogy,
Yep.
which if that happens, yeah. I mean, I didn't realize this either because we were so caught up in the whole rematch. I didn't realize what their first fight was almost to the day last year, right?
Yes. Yeah. September 16th, I believe it was. Yeah, absolutely. Or no, it's September 17th. Today is the 16th. So September 17th I think it was September 7th. No. It was September 16th because yesterday was the 15th. Technically, it's the next day. Yeah, it was almost it's almost to the day. If there's going to be a trilogy, I think it's going to be in May because I don't think Triple G is going to want to wait. See, that's the thing, man. Like, he's 36 years old. He's about to be 37. Does he have the heart? I mean, does he want to?
I think he retires.
Yeah, I mean, why not, man? I mean, dude, he's made his money. This is
I think he retires if for no other reason than no one has caused him that kind of damage.
Yeah, that's true, man.
That like and here's the thing, like as long as he has the belt and he's his most recent opponent, there's nowhere to go. Like I really understand how guys at the top of their career, because I always wondered this, right? Like why would you retire? You got a name, just go fight some more fights.
Sure.
Well, it doesn't quite work that way. No commission or most commissions won't approve you. And even if they would approve you, boxing's a dirty business. They're going to make sure that no one wants to put you on. You're under contract. There's all kinds of things. So Triple G's in a really interesting spot. He was the undisputed champ for a very long time, and now he's not.
Right.
And what's he do now? Well, he doesn't build himself back up. He's only the second place. I mean, in terms of the rankings, right? He's only second place. Yeah. So you fighting down. No one wants to see that. No one's going to pay to see that. Sure. The only reason he gets on pay-per-view and gets his payday really is because Canelo.
Yep.
So does he fight Canelo again? Well, he does or doesn't is any issue. He has no choice if he wants to fight again.
Right, I agree. It's been fun, man. This was listen. This was definitely a great breakdown. I think like I said, man, this was a close fight. I'd love to see part 3, but just given what you've said at this point, listen, man. Like, here's the thing, right? Like, what'll happen right now? Triple G is thinking there's no way I can put myself through this again. But guess what? Over the next 3 months, after his body heals and he starts to replay things that he could have done differently, dude, maybe he gets that fire in his belly.
It's like when chicks decide to have the second kid. The first one, it's like, oh man, and then a few months pass, like, man, it ain't so bad. It's so cute. I want another one.
Well, Ed, I appreciate you making the time for us, man. It is 1:30 in the morning, and I am not. Listen, I'm an old man. I'm 41 years old, man. I gotta.
No shit, man. Being black is awesome. Wow, I thought you said that one day, and I was like, man, he just bullshitting. You really 41? That's dope.
Yep. Well, you know how it is, man. You know what they say. Yeah. Let's do it again sometime, man.
Oh, for sure, man. This was great.
All right, guys. This has been the Triple G Canelo post fight. Breakdown with Donovan Sharpe and Ed Latimore. I'm going to put this on Patreon probably tomorrow morning when I get up. I don't know what time that'll be, but thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you next time.
All right, man.